Hello, everyone. Welcome to COIS FRSC2750. This is our week 3 office hours. I appreciate you attending. Just a few comments to get started. We are, like I said, on week 3. We are focused on chapter 2 this week. We have a chapter 2 quiz that's due Friday, tomorrow, by 11:59:00. If you can't see that quiz, it means that you haven't done your 2 mandatory submissions correctly and the quiz is hidden from you. I have gone over those mandatory submissions in great detail, especially in office hours 1. So I would suggest that you watch that. I'm happy to answer questions with anyone that's here live about that. But for now, suffice to say, there are 2 mandatory submissions. One is the academic integrity module screenshot, where it proves that you've done the academic integrity module this year, got 15 out of 15, and you've submitted that to me. I have to manually mark that. So if you haven't done that, please do so with lots of time before Friday, as soon as possible. Because, if you submitted at 10:30 on Friday night, chances are really good that I'm not going to be looking to mark at that point, and you'll miss this round of quizzes as well. The other element is the course requirements quiz, and that is 24 questions that has mostly to do with the syllabus and a little bit to do with APA formatting. There have been 15 attempts allowed on that. I will be doing another 5 attempts for people that are still struggling as of Saturday, which won't do you any good if you use up your 15 attempts before then. Please be careful with your attempts. The information is in the Purdue OWL APA formatting link that I provided in course content general. I don't want to belabor this. If someone has questions about it, I'm happy to answer them. But for the people that are here, in most cases, you probably attended previous office hours or at least watched them. So I'll leave it at that, other than to say, again, if you need more information, you're watching this as a recording, please refer to office hours 1, where I go in great detail about that. Okay. Other than that, we've got our discussion 1 post 2 that's due on Friday as well. That is your response to someone else's either question or post. So the requirements for that are exactly the same as they were for discussion 1 post 1. So take a look in the syllabus, take a look in the instructions for the post, and that will certainly guide you there. All the same requirements as post 1. You just can't be late because the discussion does close as of 11:59 on Friday. Okay, so please do that. They are worth a decent amount, so I would recommend spending some time on them. My advice is work on your answer and do multiple drafts on it, and then submit it. But be careful in Blackboard, as I've said before, it loves to butcher your response and butcher the formatting specifically of your response. And it just makes it look like a mess. So strip out the formatting. I've talked about how to do that, and then reformat it within Blackboard and submit it. Okay. So that's now sometimes people will forget. Like say you submit it and you forget to put your reference list in. Just respond to yourself and put that reference list in. If you forget and it goes past the due date of Friday at 11:59, then there's nothing to be done. But if you just happen to forget it, just post as a response to yourself, and we'll certainly mark that and give you credit for that. So not to worry. If you massively mess up, I don't know, you post the wrong thing or whatever, just respond to yourself and post the right thing. We're smart enough. We'll figure it out. We'll be marking the last submission that you make as opposed to the first one, especially if you put a note at the top saying, sorry, this is the second submission, edited version or something like that, whatever you want to do. So just that's, I think, all that I wanted to cover, just sort of natively. I will look at the questions in chat. You're welcome to do submit questions by audio or in the chat, and I'll answer all of them. I'll take my time and get through everyone's questions. So looking to the chat, do we need references for answer to someone's question? What if it's our own thoughts? Yes, you need yes, you need references, 100%. Even if you're offering an opinion, I've talked about this before. I want you not to say, in my opinion, or write in first person. I want you to state facts and support them with citations and ultimately a reference list referring to that citation. So we are practicing academic writing here. So I want facts. If someone asks you for your opinion, even in that case, state it as a fact. I recommended last time, when you're dealing with discussions, particularly when you're dealing with the response to someone else's post or someone else's question in their post, shop around, take a look at a bunch of different posts, find one that lends itself to A, something you're interested in, B, research, and allows you to write in that way. If someone's asked a question like, in your opinion, is this a good thing, which wouldn't require sort of any research or doesn't lend itself immediately to research, just don't answer that. Just pick something else to answer. Okay, that's my advice there. Okay. Post 2 is directly responding to a classmate, correct? No new thread need to be created. That's correct. You just hit, you just find it and you respond to them, and you have two choices essentially, or some combination of the two choices. You can respond to their post and agree or disagree, or partially agree and partially disagree. That works. Or you can respond to the interesting question that they've put at the end of their post, which may or may not be related to their post. So either one is fair game. You can do whichever one you want. Yeah, so no new thread needs to be created. Just go ahead and respond to their post. Okay. I uploaded my first discussion post last week, and the text box, it was properly formatted. I submitted it. Today, when I opened discussions to reply, the formatting is ruined. Is there a way I can copy and paste the same answer in a formatted way? Don't worry about it. We won't take any, there will not be a penalty, assuming I can actually read it. If you want, if you prefer, go ahead and respond. Under normal circumstances, that would cost you the 10% penalty, even if just because you're submitting it late now, okay? In this circumstance, we're not going to be charging a late penalty on any of them in this first discussion only. So, I mean, that's an incentive to get 2 posts in. There won't be a 10% penalty. I guarantee you that if you submit late on discussions 2, 3, or 4, or yeah, 2, 3, or 4, I'm just looking through, or 5, you will be charged the penalty. But if you want to take the time to resubmit that and make sure the formatting is cleaned up, I encourage you to do that, and there'll be no penalty to do that. So feel free to do that. There is a preview that works pretty well in the submission there. So I would encourage anyone, when you paste in and you do your formatting, you strip your format, you paste in as just text, you paste it as just text, and then you reformat it in Blackboard. You can do that preview and look at and see what it's going to look like. I don't think it's 100%, but it may alert you to something going horribly, horribly wrong. Okay. Will we have to cite the person we're responding to in any formal way? So I think what you mean by that is, do you have to acknowledge who you're responding to? Do you have to cite their original post? You don't have to acknowledge them in any way. I mean, you can say, thanks, Cheryl, or whatever, if you want. That's not something that I care one way or the other about. But you don't have to quote it or anything like that. We market, the way we see it when we market, myself and the other workshop leaders, is we see it in just what you've posted. So we don't actually see the original person's post. If you want to quote it, I think you're able to do that. It doesn't matter one way or the other. We're going to be marking you on the content, and we'll assume what you say is true, meaning you use the question. At the end of the day, I'm just looking for well-written responses that are well-researched and well-formatted, and I'm meaning not so much in the sort of technical formatting, but in English, well-formatted, well-structured responses. Okay. There is a rubric that you can look at that tells you how we mark these things. We're going to be giving you very, very detailed feedback on them, and we're going to do that hopefully by Wednesday of next week, so that you have a chance to review your feedback. And please review your feedback. We spent a lot of time providing feedback before you have the next discussion two post one due. Okay, so you'll have a chance to see the feedback of what we thought about your first post. Remember, it's best 4 out of 5. So don't despair if you get, a terrible mark and you thought you'd done really well, but you get a lot of criticism. Take that as an opportunity to improve, and know that you can still get perfect in your discussions, even 0 in discussion 1. Okay. First of all, did Chloe, did that answer your question, first of all? Okay, excellent. Are there any other questions? Anything else that's bothering people, that's nagging at your minds, or any clarifications I can make? I'm happy to, in live office hours, I'm happy to answer any question that I can, even if it's been asked in previous office hours. I don't have any problem with that. What I can't do is when people send me email. We have a huge class, and I can't be individually answering people stuff that's already covered here. I had quite a few people that joined the class late. Fortunately, we're through that period now. And with the people that joined late, I often got the question, I've joined 2 weeks late or whatever it was. What do I need to get caught up? Well, what you need to do is read the syllabus, watch the office hours, and inform yourself as to what's going on in the course. And then if you have specific questions, something that's not clear, either attend the office hours or ask me a question by email. I'm happy to answer the unique questions by email, but I'm not happy to answer the repetitive questions like when is discussion 2 due? Those sorts of things that we've covered. So, and it's just a matter of scale. If I had 3 people in this class, you could bombard me all day, every day with every question, and I'd answer every one. I can't do it with 350 people in this class and over 300 in another class. I just can't do it. I have concerns regarding the quiz, but I'm not sure if I can ask them in front of everyone. That's fine. I will give anyone an opportunity to talk to me privately at the end of this. So when we get done, when I get through sort of the general questions or the public questions, I will hang around. And if there's more than one person that wants to talk to me privately, first of all, I'll turn off the recording. And secondly, I'll put you in separate rooms and I'll talk to you one-on-one. I'm happy to do that. I'm definitely available. So how much of the overall discussion post 1 mark does the reply make up? Half, exactly half. The 2 halves, post 1 and post 2, Noah, are equally marked. So I think it's out of 3 each. So for out of 6, bear with me. That's probably wrong. I'm just checking in the syllabus here. I think it is. So 5 discussions are worth 20%, but only 4 are marked. So they're each worth 5%. So each one is worth 2.5%. If you want to look at it, each post is worth 2.5%. Okay. Do look at this at the rubric. Stuff like if you give me a beautiful list of 3 or 4 or whatever number of references, but you don't cite within the text, that is of no use and will be a 0 in the marks contributing towards citations and references. So just stuff like that. Or if you did citations for some reason in the text and you forgot to put a reference list, that would also be a 0 in that element. So it's spelled out very carefully in the rubric as well. Can you repeat when the discussion marks feedback are posted? So this time, yeah, I'm happy to, of course. We're going to aim for Wednesday. Sometimes it drifts to Thursday, but our goal is to get them out by Wednesday. So we've got a lot to mark, obviously, and we do a lot of detail in discussion 1 and discussion 2. Once we get to discussion 3, 4, and 5, we tend to leave very little feedback and rely on the marks for the most part. And we do that just based on historically. We find that if we've given really detailed feedback in discussions 1 and 2, and the person is still, say, not doing the right number of words or not using 3 cited references, they're not going to change. They're not looking at feedback, so we're just wasting our time. So we, after discussion 1 and 2, which are really, really detailed in the feedback, and we get them out on time before the next post that you have to do. So after discussion 1, post 2, we get them out to you on the Wednesday before the Friday where discussion 2, post 1 is due. So it gives you a chance to digest that feedback. You find that in your grade book. You drill down and it tells you what we think and our opinion, gives you a chance to interact back with us if you want. You can ask questions in the office hours on the Thursday, like next week, if you wish, and I'll try and answer them. Keep in mind that I'm not marking the vast majority of these, right? So we will have different people marking them. So if you have a question, you may want to address it to the whole group. And then the person that's marked it, tell us what group you're in, like which discussion group, because I'll split them by discussion groups. And we will get back to you and comment on the feedback. Okay, if needed, if it's hopefully it's self-apparent, we try and make it so that it's self-contained. But yeah, so the short answer to your question is that by next Wednesday, hopefully, and maybe by next Thursday, you'll have feedback from discussion 1 to put towards discussion 2, post 1 and post 2. Okay. Chloe, will there be anything mentioned in the lectures that isn't in the textbook but may show up in the quiz? No, absolutely not. There will not be. I guarantee that. The quizzes are based on the text. My lectures are also based on the text, but I don't pretend to cover everything in the chapter. The idea of the lectures is hopefully to give you a different way to digest the information. Maybe it's like sometimes I tell stories, sometimes I, try and make it real based on my experiences or whatever. It's just to help you digest the material in the chapter. If you have a choice between reading the chapter and watching my lecture, it's an easy choice. Read the chapter. Okay. That's definitely 100% the way to go. And when you're doing the quizzes, you should have your textbook open virtually, whatever, electronically, and be searching through. If you don't know that answer, if it doesn't immediately, if you don't immediately recall it, start doing keyword searches through the text and reread that section so that you should be aiming obviously for perfect marks on the quizzes. Okay. So yeah, there's nothing, I'm not going to sneak in or otherwise provide any information in the lectures that is not in the textbook and test you on it. Okay. All righty. Any other questions at all? All right. If your questions have been answered or you don't have any further questions and you don't need to stick around and talk to me privately, feel free to get on with your evening. Thank you very much for coming out. I appreciate it. Have a good evening. Good luck on the quiz, and I'll see you guys in a week. And I'll stick around here in case someone's interested in talking to me privately. Thank you. So just as an addendum, I see a question that was added after I had paused or stopped the recording. So I'm going to address that now for the recording. In quizzes, there are some questions where there's more than one answer. I think I'm losing a lot of marks there. My question is, are we losing all the marks from that question, or do we get partial marks on that question? So it's an all or none. You either get it 100% right or 100% wrong. So let's say there are 5 choices and 4 of them are correct, and you choose 3 of them. That is unfortunately a 0. It's not 3/4 of a mark or something like that. Okay. Are there any other, there is information in the textbook focusing specifically on the United States. Will we be tested on that information? Yes, potentially. I mean, I won't over sort of indulge in the US stuff, but yeah, that's sort of subject to it. I sometimes comment in the lectures what the Canadian equivalent is, but you would be tested on anything in the text. The problem that we have is the forensic community and forensic opportunities are very small in Canada compared to the United States. The US is very litigious, meaning they sue people a lot. They have a lot of court action, which requires forensic people. So just like I worked in San Francisco and San Diego as part of my career, there's lots of opportunities south of the border. And the textbooks that are written, you're probably never going to see a Canadian-specific digital forensics text just because there's not a big enough audience. Okay.
Hi, sorry. So just a quick question about the same quiz question with the multiple answers.
Yep.
So how would I I did my best, I'm pretty sure, in the last quiz, and I still got 1.3. So how would I know which answer I missed if they're like multiple?
So unfortunately, I can't release the answers, and that's kind of a two-pronged thing. One, philosophically, I'm not trying to get students to memorize answers. What I'm trying to do is hopefully teach you content. And secondly, all my correct answers, all the confirmed correct answers get uploaded, and people just end up downloading them from cheating websites. So I just can't do it, unfortunately. So I don't confirm correct answers. Now, when you get perfect on a quiz, and you will, you'll know that all your questions you got 100% on and are correct, and you'll want to keep that information for testing, right? Because you're going to see that on the final and such. Okay. Okay.
So there is like no way we can even know that which question we did wrong.
No, I mean, maybe you have a feeling of which ones you weren't confident of, and I would just go back to the textbook and reread it and see what's going on with that.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Does anyone have any further public questions? If not, I'm going to pause. Okay, have a great evening. Take care. I'm going to stop the recording for a second time, and I'll talk to you folks that are waiting privately here. Bear with me.